many ideas come in our minds, many less ideas come into real life. But today, the Jiwa community garden is producing eggs. You can see eggs, organic eggs. And you have Lenny here with some veggies. Show the veggies, Lenny. Yes, some cucumbers and eggplants. That was the key from the very beginning. We all came from different backgrounds, but we all had a dream to make something work. It didn't matter if it was big or small, but it had to work. And we obviously have different opinions of what it means to work. For me, it would be the project has to be financially sustainable without the need of donations. Donations are great. It keeps us going, of course, it's a nice boost, but we didn't want to be an organization that would require donations to work. And today we can say with a lot of confidence that the Jiwa Community Garden is financially sustainable. And we have many plans down the road, which Lenny will explain later. And with Djuca also will explain about what's the future of sustainability. Now, first, I'm going to share a few slides for those who maybe never heard of the Jiwa Community Garden. Let me see if I can share my screen. I can. All right. Can everybody see my slide? Christian, yes. Can you see my slide?
It's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, we can see it. Yeah, we can see the PowerPoint slide with the Balinese lady and the challenge.
Perfect. Faces. Like I said, we all come from different backgrounds. We all are from different nationalities, but we all align on the fact that we saw big problems in Bali. One of the big one is, of course, mass tourism. It's not sustainable. And our focus is how to turn mass tourism to sustainable tourism. The second one is waste. During COVID, waste is still there. And it was a very common thing in the news. We would blame the tourists. The tourists are the cause for all the plastic in Bali, all the plastic. But now there's no tourists and there's still waste and people are confused on who to blame on. And then finally, COVID-19, it sucked. It was horrible. But now it's time to think about the people who are truly suffering. And those who are suffering are the unemployed restaurant and hotel workers. So Jiwa, first and foremost, wanted to be a project that could be implemented, but we wanted to also fix the problems that Bali was having. We're not multimillionaires. We are not, let's say, smart people, but we just want to see what we could do. What we could do with our three brains in the community. All right. Lenny, I'll let you continue.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. I'll just put it down here. Okay, so we have a piece of land here almost in the middle of Canggu. I've been trying to combine a few different things. One of them is we're picking up organic waste from the local market here in Canggu every single day. We're also picking up organic waste from a few households and restaurants and cafes once a week. So a very simple service just to make sure that the organic waste, if it's getting mixed with plastics and other waste, goes straight to landfill. There's nothing to do with that. It can't really be recycled, can't be upcycled. Once all the waste is mixed up, it basically, has only one option, which is straight to the TPA. That, pollutes the soil, pollutes waters, and in the end, basically is very unsustainable. It destroys our environment. So we have composting, we're growing food. We've also built the building that we're sitting in right now, where we're hosting courses and workshops to really share what we're doing here, but also to invite other communities to share what they're doing in the realm of sustainability and regenerative farming and anything else that they'd like to share with the world. Cool. This is the three of us. I think that that makes sense to anyone. And I'll talk a little bit about the mission and where we're trying to go in the future. Do we have about 48 acres of land, which has been unused for about 25 years, which Krishna always calls it a crime.
It was an illegal landfill, and we turned it into something productive as a community. So
that's true. I don't want to downplay that. So yeah, it literally hasn't been used for about 25 years, which obviously it's a valuable piece of land, and there's so much more to do with land than just to sit and wait until the value rises up a little bit. And yeah, we've turned it into, you can see the different sections here. There's the composting, there's community gardens, there's a few sponsored garden plots, which is one of our sustainable revenue streams that pays for a lot of the staff salaries and expenses that we have here. We have a learning center. We're just building a cafe just up here behind us, where we'll be serving food that hopefully mainly comes from the garden or from other organic suppliers all over Bali. Yeah, compost. I think we have one of us here who has, as he says, an actual fetish for compost. So this fetish for compost. Let's have Djuca take the mic for a second on this.
Okay.
Tell them how it was before when I was managing the compost.
Well, yeah. Initially, Chris started the Compost Heroes, and it was a huge move to try and reduce our waste in Canggu, and also get a bit of awareness towards what it actually means to decompose food into compost and turn it into something that's insanely valuable rather than just methane and mixing it up with plastic. So he did call me up and ask me for emergency help as he was turning Serenity's backyard into a very smelly backyard, and so I quickly got active, and we set the site here at Jiwa. So that was the first thing we did for the first 4 months, was mostly just composting properly, getting our whole system in place. You know, thank God Chris was good at making SOPs, so we got that going. And you know, daily we have a lot of we managed to employ a few people to get going with that, and it started running a circular system, you know, from picking up compost as a service and turning into probably the highest quality compost you can get in this area, and then selling it as a resource for our own garden projects or using it in our community garden. So it's a perfect loop. You know, we have no losses. We need that compost just as much as any permaculture garden, but we're not going to go and buy it. We get it from the market, and we pick it up from our customers. We turn it into compost, which we then use or sell. So it's quite a good bulletproof setup. Anyway.
So when Djuca saved the composting situation, we finally were able to produce. Currently, we're producing about 2 tons of compost per month, collecting 6 tons every month. When we were able to get that much compost, we started to attract communities, and people that wanted to garden or people who were professional gardeners started to gather up at Jiwa. And the community started just like that. And now our productive garden section is full to the brim. And that's how we're able to produce every week a lot of veggies and eggs for the community. Of course, right now it's all by donation. So whenever we have a harvest, we ask people to just take us what they want, and it's by donation. The Learning Center, Lenny, this is for you.
Cool, great. So yeah, literally this building that we're sitting in right now is built off entirely bamboo and secondhand roof tiles, which took us about a month or 2 to build. And we've done this with a fundraiser, and Krishna outlined in the beginning, we try to not be dependent on donations and fundraising, but for this one, just to get it going as quickly as possible. That worked out amazingly, and we hosted a workshop to actually make it happen. People learned how to build with bamboo, while building a building, which was epic. And now, so what we've done now, we're going into the direction of hosting more courses and workshops and developing curriculums for, you know, international schools, because we want to try and really tap into the market of young people just being exposed to nature and learning why it's important to pay attention to that. And that's for international schools, that's for local schools.
And young people are the future. They're the future. So if we can change the young people, we change the future.
Yeah, Krish is about to have hopefully kids himself, so they can come, you know, learn and dig at the same time.
We got a place for them.
And yeah, so I mean,
local.
exactly, local schools and that's just cool. But so yeah, I mean, for me, one of the main intentions here was also just to create a space that's different from the rest what I think mostly here in Canggu is being offered. And I think a lot of, you know, especially Djuca and Krishna, who were born and raised here in Bali, have seen a lot of concrete being piled up here in Canggu over the past 20 years. And really one of the ideas was to have a green oasis where we're not building, we're not having, you know, permanent structures here, and we're mostly, you know, sequestering carbon, we're growing food. It's really a place where anybody can come at any time, have an affordable coffee, hang out in a hammock, bring their own blanket, have a picnic on the weekend with the kids, anything's possible. And really, yeah, without the community that's been showing up since we started this about a year ago, you know, every second Saturday, we've been doing open garden sessions and just really working on projects that are relevant at that point in time. It's been incredible. And without so much support from people coming in, expats and locals, that all of that wouldn't have been possible.
Is there anything else we want to add? Right, that's probably our
like guiding principle?
that is the biggest possible outside income. The way we manage to make a proper, stable, and very sustainable income is through making sure that we can consult for other projects, villas, hotels, or even other community programs. Depending on the project itself, it would either be, possibly a like a business approach, or maybe a community approach, whether they need our help for another community garden, we can be, consulting for that. And the Jiwa blueprint is completely open to the public, in the sense if somebody else wanted to provide or wanted to make a Jiwa example anywhere else, this is completely usable. And we have step-by-step data of how we turned this dump yard into a productive garden as a community in this location, so it can be used anywhere else. And then the consulting thing is, I would say, one of the biggest kicks for Jiwa to really get running, because we get a lot of customers asking for us to make sure they have a running permaculture garden in their backyard, or a composting facility, or something that we can consult with, and that gives us an incredible boost. So yeah.
And this is how, especially that we're fulfilling one of the problems in Bali, which is so many people in the tourism industry are confused on where to go next. Tourism is still here, it's still alive. It's just in a different form. It's no longer in the form of, let's call it mass tourism, conventional tourism. People go into clubs, get drunk, and then go back to their home country. That's how it was Bali, pre-COVID. Now people want to spend time where they stay, so they can stay at least 6 months in Bali, 1 year. They want to be healthy. They want to feel that they're getting good value for their money. And this is how also we work, because permaculture is not expensive. We try to provide ideas that don't cost money, but provide long-term benefits. Think about the little things, like your garden, your villa garden, your hotel garden. Is it just pretty? Does it have any purpose outside of being pretty? If you want it more than just a pretty garden, then you can come to us and we'll be happy to provide some consulting.
Cool.
Of course,
Cool,
you can also help by, yes, sorry, Christian?
Cool, guys.
Cool.
I mean, already in the chat, people are saying like your energy. I love your spirit, guys.
Actually, that's a good point. Enough about Jiwa. Let's talk about Q&A. I think it would be a good opportunity, and
Yeah, we can talk about Jiwa, and ask questions. I mean, I have a bunch of questions myself.
Oh, please.
Yeah. So I understand, but I also like to open the talk for us on the call. So if you want to ask a question, please use the chat, and then I can read out. For me to kick it off, I understand. I mean, I'm amazed, first of all, boom, cool. Not only your spirit, I love food. I'm coming myself from an agricultural background in Germany, so I've been raised in a village. I'm eating organic since 40, 50 decades. So I love it. I see the benefits which it can bring, not only to the palate, like tasting vegetables, because they just taste better, but they also nurture your body in a different way. So it's a lot of education to bring somebody, from my experience, from normal food to actual organic food takes a while to appreciate that, right? So that's one thing. I just want to say I really appreciate the effort. Now I'm hearing you have a blueprint. I already said to Joan, I have a land here, in Ubud. What does it take if I have a few hours here? What would it take for me to because I don't have time to do that? What would it take for me to convert that into a Jiwa in Ubud?
That's a good. We were just talking about this, right?
Yeah.
People ask us, wow, Jiwa is a great concept, but what's next for you guys? What are you guys looking for?
Yeah.
And we're always open to looking to find new pieces of land to convert into productive organic gardens that have a sense of community, that have a sense of that, it's not impossible for anybody to do it. You want to elaborate? I think Lenny is the one. So Lenny, I forgot to really, we're all very different people. I come from the business background. I focus on realistic things. Djuca is the garden expert. He's able to talk to plants and animals. Lenny looks into the future. So I'll give it
Okay.
to Lenny because he would be able to smash this answer.
Thanks, Krish. That's very flattering. Yeah, thanks, Christian. It really depends on what you'd like to get out of the space. It really depends on the size that you have. Do you want it to have publicly accessible to other people? Is it just your backyard? So I think there's a few questions that we'd want to
Public access, educational. Just please copy this you have over there.
Okay, how much space do you have?
10.
10
Wow.
out. Okay, so
That's actually quite big.
10 out is great. We'd have to kind of limit, if you want to make your own compost as possible, you need a little bit of space for that. And I mean, if you want to do that community focus, and I think in a way that we've managed to do it here, the first thing is really just to have an opening session, invite people over and tell them, okay, this is the space that I have. And, either you're open to ideas from other people or you already have your plans completely fixed up and say, hey, this is the exact design that you'd like to implement, but you love to get someone's help and really just, have people lend a helping hand, do that, organize a nice afternoon, some snacks and drinks, and really just get the community together. And literally, like, once you get the ball rolling, it's not going to stop. And that's what I'm saying. That's what we've had the experience here, and we see what's important first. What do we have to take care of first? And, how does the infrastructure work? So we're super happy to provide all of that input and really make sure that once the ball is rolling, it doesn't take a few wrong turns where you're wasting time, but really go in go all in, and 5 to 6 months from now you can have a fruitful garden where you're harvesting at least vegetables, herbs and all that, and you might be harvesting your first batch of compost as well.
Yeah, I'm also interested in this compost topic. I was just thinking about like how my father taught me to make compost. So and I like your logo, your compost hero. Like I really love it. I mean, it's amazing. Do you sell the compost? Because you can buy compost in Germany. You can go and shop for compost. Do you sell it also here? Because it's really like it's a very rich in nutrition to put into to your own garden, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we lovingly call it our black gold. Absolutely. Without making the compost, we would have never been able to produce food at the rate that we're doing now. This is, the land that this is built up on is an old rice field. It used to be rice field for decades. Then it's been just lying dormant for, another few decades. And it's literally just 50 centimeters of super compact clay that actually no root really likes to go in, let alone soft vegetable roots. And so, without the compost, none of that growth will be possible. And so we do sell our compost. It's available depending on the season and depending on how many other projects we're doing at the moment or at that time. So sometimes we use it a lot in other gardens. So we ship it around, but it's available. If you need a pickup full of it, if you just want a bucket for your little herb garden, we have all of that available.
Good.
Christian,
And
sorry. Yeah.
Like I have a question for you. Like you have a blueprint to make this, but looking at your promising talk, like looking at the tourism industry, connecting to what Jerome said, but also what Robert said earlier, I totally agree with your points on that Bali experience tourism in a different way. We're already doing it right now. And we have like different kind of people coming. And but like looking at the locals, if I think, and I've been living up in the mountains for many months, like they don't know how to turn a business, like a land into a business. So we have a model, like our education program. So for locals, for Balinese people, they have land, more or less land, but how they make money out of it and how much do they need to invest and where do they get the money from? What's the business plan behind it? Is there any thoughts you're sharing on that one already?
Okay, that's a good point. And obviously, this one is a good answer, a good question, because we have different answers. Personally, I feel that the Balinese people who have the will and the initiative to start a business, start farming, are already farming. They've already started their business. When COVID hit, they didn't just sit at their house and they got to work.
Yeah.
The people that we're focused on are the people who are still at home, confused, depressed, stressed because they don't have a job.
Yeah.
And I probably don't have the best answer, but I believe that hiring people to be farmers is the easiest way. Now, for example, Jiwa, we are already hiring 5, 6, 7 people per day. For us, that's how we're doing our part. Now, for you, Christian, for example, a way you could do this is, let's say your 10-acre piece of land. You can estimate that your grocery budget is so and so much per month. Now, if we're able, with our help, with our advice, that you hire 1 or 2 people to manage your garden and you're able to produce your own food, you will see that perhaps in a year, you might have your grocery budget cut in half or more than half, and that goes into employing people. That would be,
yeah, I know. I mean, I'm having a cook at home, so I know my grocery budget. I'm paying it myself every month. So yeah, I understand that. So what I'm hearing is that you have ideas of thinking of these kind of concepts, business concepts, but they're not written out yet. So they're not like really written out. You don't have like best practice blueprints for a business concept.
For the business concept.
Best practices? No, we have guidelines.
As our business.
Okay, guidelines.
No, we have guidelines. So, one of our guidelines is that whatever we can do, we don't think about investing a lot of money if we have other alternative solutions. And this is the same concept for any business. When you're starting a new business, when you're building a restaurant, for example, don't go and buy a new set of chairs and tables. Use what you have first. So cash flow, that would be for me. For me, the concept of Jiwa is no different to any other business. You want to be very sustainable in terms of cash flow. You don't want to focus too much on the offense. So too much marketing, but not actually doing any work. That would be for me. I'm going to hand it to Djuca because I know he's got also his opinions.
Thank you.
I was just trying to point out that the blueprints are obviously quite a complex amount. There's quite a complex system to running such a this is not a very typical program. It's not a very typical business, right? We do have the aspect of waste management, of logistics behind all the things we have to do to pick up waste around the village, and our community setup with all the community programs, and our education setup, and our events, and we have to make it viable. We need to actually make an income every month and hire as many people as possible without, so there's so many things that have to fall into this business idea. So the blueprints there are, and we definitely have them, but it's quite hard for us to just say, do this, don't do that, unless, you might personally come to us and say, look, our project is so and so, and we can definitely give very clear guidance on what to at least not do and what to do. If you want to follow a model that is super, environmentally sustainable and stuff like that. So yeah.
That sounds very, very, very concrete. I'm really happy to hear that.
Christian.
Yeah. Yes.
Christian.
Please.
This is Jerome here. Sorry. Can I
Jerome,
ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, we know each other quite well. I love your concept, guys. You know it. And I'm just wondering, talking about putting the, in the longer term, how do you bring these people, what you said, Krishna, you want to take the guys who haven't done a step yet, the Balinese who are just sitting there, still getting depressed in the villages, is exactly my aim also. So the question is how do you get these guys? How do you find them? How do you identify them? I know you have sometimes these events and some come, but maybe it's not these guys who come and maybe already motivated ones. I don't know. So how do you identify these people and go and try to talk to them? Because these are the ones we need to kind of help and also basically train them on business, like not just on farming, but also on how to start a business.
Good question, Jaren. So, the question was, how do we find these people, these workers? There's no one way. It's a multi-pronged approach. We go word of mouth. In the very beginning, I actually, because I'm part of also a few other communities, I just went to these groups and I said, hey, do you know anybody who is looking for a job? We'll pay them a basic salary in the beginning to do some garden work. And from that, we already received 40, 50 people who came in. For each of these people, we had a simple evaluation first. So from the 50 people who gave me their contacts, I reached out to them. 40 people got back to me. From those 40 people, I said, okay, can you come tomorrow after tomorrow to Jiwa? From those 40 people, 20 people came. From those 20 people, we tested them on the field, And those who couldn't last more than 1 day, then it went to 10 people. And
No,
from
we
those
kept
10 people, then we selected, from those 10, now we have about 5 full-time from those people, and 5 are on call. So in the very beginning, honestly, just reach out, just ask questions. Who's looking for a job? You're never gonna, if you say, and you reach out, say, hey, I'm looking for an expert gardener, that's gonna be expensive. You never want to do that, especially when you're starting a new business. Now, luckily for us, we have our expert gardener. He's right there, very handsome, Djuca. So we use what we have as assets, and we look for people who right now don't have a job, are clueless, but they have 2 hands, they have 2 legs. So these are human beings who want to do something. Yes, Jordan.
Sorry about that to interrupt, but it's the whole training pattern, the whole thing. You need to train them, and as you said, you have 48 in the beginning and you find 10, which is already great. I'm super surprised. I thought you had said 3 are there still doing, because it's a hard job. So it's the ones who really want to learn, it's a selection process, ones who wants to learn, who are really motivated because I understand, first they need to eat, number 2, they need to earn money to feed the family, but then it's also about having that commitment, that drive. So in your case, it's the garden workers. And then what I'm also saying, that's for you, but then how do you get, we need also to find entrepreneurs, the ones who want to start businesses and do more of his jivas, more of his gardens, more of his farming.
What do we do for the entrepreneurs? Well, we're all in a way entrepreneurs, right? Everybody on this call, I'm assuming, are always thinking about what's best for the future. How can we start a company? We try to show by example. There's no point trying to motivate entrepreneurs to follow Jiwa if we're bankrupt. And this is especially key for Indonesians, or maybe not. Why Indonesians? All people. We have to eat, we have to live. And for that to work, you have to show a concept that works. So we try to inspire people to do the things that we did well and learn from the things that we did not so well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Krishna, we have another 2-3 minutes. What does Jiva mean? I don't understand. Where does it come from?
But it's great. Jiwa means soul in Bahasa, but the originality of how we got the name was, this land that we're on is heritage land. Now, for 25 years, it was unused. That's a fact. And the reason being is because the grandfather, Imade Jiwa, birthed seven children who are very smart people. They're contractors, architects, lawyers, and they didn't need a piece of land like this. They didn't have the time. And this is a very important thing. If you want people to do what you want them to do, or to work together, give you a piece of land, you name it after somebody in their family. In this sense, Imade Jiwa was the grandfather, a famous farmer, and we told them, it's been 25 years, this land has been unused, it's now COVID, we need something to do, we need a piece of land, we'll call it the Jiwa Community Garden in respect for the grandfather. And that's how we were able to get the deal.
I mean, this is so much Balinese, I love it. I mean, this is and so entrepreneurial. Right? I truly appreciate it. Jerome, please go ahead.
I just said, sorry to know, I said it's a beautiful story. I love it. And it's also that you need to do storytelling. And, I went to shoot my introduction video of my new company, which will be there on the 17th, to Jiva, to a place that one of his gentlemen masterminded, Djuca, in the north, in Sanan Regenerative Farms. Why I went there, because I want to also show the work of, it's a beautiful story of a Canggu barista who lost his job, and now with his wife, they're having a beautiful garden, and they're coming to Canggu, but they have to come twice a week. So it's a bit hard, but we're going to try to help them to sell the vegetables in a better way. But the point is, that story tell. It's like you need to show the good things. You need to show the examples, and then a lot of new people, other people will be motivated and to join and inspiration. And I mean, there's a huge I'm very confident for Bali, because all the guys on this call today, all the fantastic speakers we have, is all people doing great stuff and are leaders and entrepreneurs. So we'll get to it. It's a matter of time. We'll get to all that.
And maybe, you know, the next steps for Jiwa, I think I'll let Lenny wrap it up and tell us what's 2022.
Yeah, what's the vision for
For Jiwa.
2022? Yeah, what?
Okay, great. Let me wrap this up. So right now we obviously we're in the middle of the rainy season, and there's a few infrastructure things that we're having to fix here so we can really step up our game in terms of really making the most of this space that we've built. We're developing a whole curriculum of courses for different ages, especially from 6 to 18, basically, to really get into local and international schools and really roll out a program there for after school activities, but also have people come to Jiwa and see this as an example. And at the same time, developing more courses and workshops that we can have here, also offering to adults and having more community events here, more music nights, more organic gardens. We have an organic market on the 19th of December. So that's next week, Sunday, all day with lots of organic farmers from Badugul selling their produce and really showcasing what they're making. So that's going to be awesome. And yeah, in the future, as we said, we talked about the blueprint. And so we want to be reaching out to more people that do have unused land available and really turn that into basically a duplication of what we've done in Jiwa here with, allotment plots and people kind of taking ownership in projects like this. And it doesn't have to be one or two people spearheading this operation, but things can be, owned by communities and collaboratively owned and managed. And we want to put that into reality.
Great example. I mean, I'm truly motivated. You are really kicking off my intrinsic motivation on this.
Let's build gardens.
Oh, Christian.
We
Lost Christian. Oh, well.
Did we lose Christian or did they lose us?
That's a good question.
Our internet might
Question.
be off.
No, we lost Christian. You lost Christian.
Oh, we lost Christian.
Okay.
All right.
Who's taking over? Any other questions? Anybody wants to
Any
share?
other questions about? Do you
guys
want?
are- you guys are smashing it. That's 3 of you, man.
Next speaker.
Not sure. Yeah.
Who's on next?
I love it.
Thanks, Jude. Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget, reach out to Jiwa if you want us to visit your garden. We're happy to do that.
Oh, break and networking.
Break and networking.
Oh, so it's Adrian.
It's Adrian.
Adrian, the floor is yours.
But how can Adrian be in both rooms at the same time?
Oh no, I think Christian's back.
Oh, Christian's back. Hey, Christian.
Yeah, I had a Wi-Fi issue here. I needed to switch the Wi-Fi. I mean, Balinese Wi-Fi, So
Yeah.
thank you guys. I'm really motivated. Next time I'm coming down to Canggu, I'm gonna step by and say hi. Okay, I want to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Please do. Thank you.
Great.
Thank
you for taking the time to talk. Thank you for sharing your inspiration, your sparkle. I can feel it. The energy here my room is filled with your vibrant energy. Thank you so much.